Bringing the hate back to Twitter.
It's real this week, buddy.
Just like the good old days. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Johnny Bottles. Welcome to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast, right here on the YouTube channel of the Squared Circle Maniacs. Please, if you like our content, give us a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm so you guys can find us. Please subscribe. Doesn't cost a thing. It helps us move up into the echelon of YouTube so we can, compete with the big podcasters like Tooneytown and Ango and Willie's Basement Wrestling News.
I like that arm.
To my left. I'm so sorry. To my left is the neckbeard psychologist from Twitter. You know him. You love him. His name is Dr. Donald Wayne.
It's Don Wayne. Let's be right. It's Don. There is no Donald in my family.
Junior?
There is no Donald.
Okay.
I'm adopted, pal. I could be the fourth one for all I know. Welcome to the show. Thank you, everybody. It is the go home for Don Wade. Vacation. Looking forward to it. If I look a little run down, it's been a tough week, but the wrestling didn't help. Luckily, as it may be. As hard as the week's been, the wrestling didn't help. There's a lot to go over today. I want to start off, though, Bottles. Maybe you've heard of this Stephanie Vaquer, that girl. Have you heard of her?
Yeah. She's not even Japanese.
Stephanie Vaquer.
We've come to this now. She's not even Japanese.
I can't
say mispronouncing Spanish name. Well, actually, she's Chilean. She's Chilean.
V-A-Q-U-E-R. I'm going. It's Vaquer. How do you say it? Seriously.
Vaquer.
She backed up to the fucking WWE. I can tell you that much. She, in 1 week, in 2 weeks, this young lady, who I've never heard of, that I don't watch, and let's face it, I'm going to be bluntly honest right here, okay? You may have heard of her. No one's watching the TV she's on unless you live in the country that they're at. All right? That's where we're at right now. Are we clear on this? Are we clear? No one watches it in this country. No one does. So don't come at me with, I watch her all the time. I saw her when she was in New Japan back in 19. No, you didn't see her. You never heard of her. You're not those people. Shut up. No one watches it. That's why it's not on stateside. That's why I don't have a channel anymore. So stop that right now at the gate.
I watch her all the time. They watch her on YouTube. They type in her name and watch matches because you can't find her stuff here. You can't find it.
That's sort of my point, is that it's not a draw. It's not drawing a dime in this country, right? But here's the point. Stephanie had a match in AEW 2 weeks ago on their pay-per-view. Yes. And I did not see the match. I don't know this girl from a hole in the wall, okay? Everyone claimed it was one of the best matches on the card. We have talked about this openly. I had never seen Mercedes wrestle because I had given up on wrestling at that point in time when she was hot. They said she had a hell of a match.
She was hot, or you mean when her career was hot?
Yeah, when she was on fire. She was
on fire.
I wasn't watching it, but from what I heard, Stephanie was really good in this thing. She was really great in this match. She held her own. Everybody immediately noticed that's a star in the making. The rumors were flying left and right after that. Tony's got to go get this girl. Tony's got to sign this star. He can make. Right. She's American bound now after she's been revealed on a pay-per-view in this country on a main platform. And let's face it, AEW is not everybody's cup of tea, but it is the second biggest promotion in the country. Yes or no?
It is.
Okay. Stephanie had that match and disappeared, gone. A week later, 2 weeks later, she is now signed with the WWE out of nowhere. No one mentioned this. No one talked about this. She was suddenly signed by the WWE.
Well, no, it was mentioned that she had interest from both companies, WWE and AEW.
Interest, yes. But interest. It wasn't like they were the front runner. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But they like to pump it up. That's
what I'm saying, though. You're talking about somebody that.
Well, she had a contract with New Japan and also with CMLL, two companies at the same time. And she went out and did the business the right way. Although she did say she had to drop the title instead of dropping it to somebody. She had to advocate the title.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to that nonsensical horse shit. Okay. That's the whole thing is a joke to me. I'm going to get there. But she signed with WWE. And from what I can tell, and I made this assumption yesterday, just based on what I've heard in the past, what other wrestlers now that are leaving have said, she had one pay-per-view at this company and said, I don't need this shit. I'm not here. And
she did Collision too the night before.
Whatever. She did 2 shows. That's what I'm saying, though. She said, I've had enough of this shit. By the way, nobody's watching Collision Bottle, so let's
nobody.
She saw the show and said, I got to get the hell out of here. I don't want any part of this. 2 weeks after that, she signs with the WWE, and the fans on the internet are going crazy. They cannot wrap their head around the fact that this is such a poorly run company right now that top future probable stars don't want to sign here anymore because they got Osprey, they got all their favorite New Japan darlings, they got all those guys, but why couldn't we get her? Well, here's what I kept reading over and over again. I want you to hear this. Well, WWE probably paid her way more money to go there. They cannot comprehend the fact that this company is being run like a play toy right now. It's being run like an idiot factory. There is no one in charge that's an alpha male that says, we're doing this and here's why. Tony doesn't have that kind of control. And I don't want to hear it from anybody saying, no, it's fine. It's good. Everything's good here. No, it's not. This woman just had a pay-per-view match on your company 2 weeks ago and said, I don't need this shit. I'll go to the developmental brand. Because let's have this conversation as well. When was the last time you ever heard of the WWE paying big money for an unproven commodity that's just now getting started in this business? When have you ever heard that?
Logan Paul.
I don't even think they paid him big money until after the fact. Now I think he's got.
Oh, they had to
paid the money to come on. Yes, but he did it seriously. He did it just to get some publicity at first. Then it turned out the guy can really wrestle. Like they didn't sign him just for his wrestling. They signed him because he is a phenomenon on the internet, Twitters, if you will, the social media. He's everywhere. You can't escape everywhere. That guy. No one knows who this woman is until a couple weeks ago. I didn't know who she was until a couple weeks ago.
You're right. So you're exactly right.
They're not backing up the Brinks truck to sign this chick. They signed her to a pretty good, I'm willing to bet, a fair, lucrative deal for a developmental contract would be my guess.
I would think so. And I would think that no matter what the Fed would pay, that the mighty Tony Khan would say, I'll go $100,000 over top of that or whatever. He'll outbid them. But there might have been some underlying reasons why she didn't want to stay. Too chaotic, like Ethan Page said in an interview. The place is too chaotic. No one knows what's going on.
I don't pay attention to a lot of other shows. I catch a snippet here and there. By the way, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe. If you got something to say, the super chats are open. If you got a comment, got something you want to get into, we can do that here today, pal. Here's what happened, right? She does the show. It's a shit show. Signs 2 weeks later. Conan actually had a show talk with Eric Bischoff, and he asked him, Conan, you still got connections down there in that company, meaning the Mexican company. I don't know what it's called, CCW, I believe, or something like that.
It's CMLL is where she came from.
CMLL, sorry.
Conan's a booker for AAA.
Well, he still got connections down there. And he said, why did she leave? And he said, it's the same reasons Ethan Page said. It's chaotic. No one's in control. You don't know what you're doing. And it's just complete pandemonium. That's what he said on that show. This guy's got connections. This isn't me saying it today. This is Conan saying it the same day. I had made an assumption that's probably why, just based on what I've read and what I've heard. And people lost their ever-loving minds screaming, there's no way that could possibly be true. I got news for you, folks. It's not getting better backstage at AEW. It's getting worse. The inmates are running the asylum. I'm looking forward to seeing her work. There was also some shit going on. Did you hear about?
Hang on a second. That match with Mercedes Moné, she went in as the heel. Moné was supposed to be the face. They did the flip-flop. The crowd did. They cheered her and they booed Mercedes Moné by the end of that match. She was that good in the ring.
I've heard she was great. I'm not saying she's not. I just don't know her. I've never seen her work. I'm looking forward to seeing her now. I will say that much. I'm looking forward to seeing this chick wrestle. I think she might have something. So we'll see where this goes. I find it hilarious that the AEW diehards cannot fathom that someone else would not choose their company for other than financial purposes. It's crazy to me to think that and say it out loud. You are not the end-all, be-all of the wrestling business. The WWE it's still where most people aspire to go to perfect being a professional wrestler because it's the biggest company in the world. The world, not America, the world. End of discussion on that. Wish her well.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they have that mindset?
For whatever reason, they have it embedded in their head that everything that comes out of the WWE is evil and it shouldn't be looked at as professional wrestling. As those idiots call it, real graps. We call these real graps over here, which is the dumbest phrase I've ever heard in my life. 12-year-old kids talking these kinds of terms. I mean, it's beneath average intelligence to talk the way some of these folks do. And I'm a wrestling fan. Real graps, yes.
Real graps. They had a match on the other night where a 55, almost 60-year-old Japanese man wrestled with a spine as paralyzed as a broomstick. And they were selling for his shots like they got hit by a truck. And he never sold a lick for them. Real graps.
We'll get into that here in a little bit because I saw that shit.
God almighty, dude.
There was also a report. Did you see this? That she was actually backstage at the NXT PLE.
Yes.
While that was going on, negotiating. Yes. She was like, I want to be here. This is where I want to be. And it also speaks volumes that a few days later, after attending their PLE, she's like, yeah, this is where I want to be. This is professional. I want to be here. I want to stay here. This is what I want to do with my career. I was kind of shocked because I thought for sure this was the next big thing coming into AEW. And I was like, all right, good for them. I don't care either way. It's not my life. It's not my money, but good for them. And then this happened.
You're a wrestler with AEW, and your brother comes to you and says, hypothetically, how's it? You think they would hire me here? You think they would hire me? I got a job match, but you think they would hire me? And you say to your brother, are you fucking joking? If you go to NXT, go to NXT, are you fucking kidding me? Wrestle your match tonight. Don't even talk to that little schmuck. Go down to NXT. And that happened with Roosh in AEW and Dragon Lee from the WWE. The kid went down to NXT for 6 months. Then he got him up on the main roster. He's working angles with Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, all those guys. So he's doing quite well for himself.
That was the first big piece of business I want to talk about this week. Bottles, did you watch? Did you happen to watch? Which, by the way, we haven't done a show since what, Sunday? It's kind of weird not having a show since Sunday because we did like 4 or 5 days. So I'm glad to be back on the microphone. Did you watch Raw this week by chance?
Absolutely, Don. Absolutely. The Raw. All I can say is if you missed Raw, only thing you got to worry about is seeing the beginning 45 minutes and the last half hour of the show. What came in the middle, you could just see snippets of that on YouTube. But it had a little something for everybody. That's how I could describe it. It had a little something for everybody.
Yes,
the smart fans got served in the beginning of the show, and you were everybody in the chat, everybody watching this obviously is a smart fan, not a casual fan. And the casual fan and the kids had the horror in the middle of the show, the spookiness. You had some star matches, and then you had that. We went right to the CW at the end of the show, if you know what I'm talking about. The CW was famous for their young adult boy-girl relationship shows. And we had a lot of that going on at the end. But nothing wrong with that.
They did it very, very on that well. Shit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. The reason I ask you is because I watched the opening segment of this thing, and I was like, that was great. Seth Rollins came out. He wasn't a jokester. He wasn't a jackass. He came out. He cut a pro. He had Bunker in the ring cutting scathing promos on each other. I mean, it was great. This was fire.
Well,
and Rollins now has a legitimate bitch with Punk. You cost me my title now. You didn't just screw Drew. So they're setting up the storyline they're setting up here is something that looks like it could go on for months and months and months. And I'm loving how they're doing this, Johnny.
I like the way Rollins was out hurt. It took him to get hurt to actually make more of a connection in his antagonism against CM Punk. There was another facet involved there, and which is what you just mentioned. Before it was just, oh, we worked at the same company before, I don't like you. You're a terrible person. That was basically their whole problem they had with each other, real life hatred, so allegedly. But now
they got a real beef. Now we've got a real personal issue. You cost me a title, which cost me money, which cost me time. I've got an issue with you. I enjoyed the opening segment. I want to say something about the Wyatt Six. You got to do something because you're starting to lose me now. And I was ready to see where this went. But the VHS bullshit on a week-to-week basis has got to stop. Do something with this already. Chad Gable running around looking like a mook, not knowing how to get out of the building because 6 people are ready to beat his ass. It's starting to get on even my nerves, and I was ready to give this a chance, but they need to shit or get off the pot.
They've got to pull the trigger on it, Don. Let's see a videotape of Dexter Lumis talking to Uncle Howdy. Let's see a videotape of that. Somebody different in the whole thing. Let's see the girl who brings out what's her name? Come on, dude. What's
Stephanie Vaquer.
No, Stephanie Vaquer. Now, the short Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross. Have Nikki Cross come out and do a little thing with Uncle Howdy and show her metamorphosis into whatever she is, a China doll or a bride or whatever the hell she's supposed to be. I don't know. But I'm engrossed in it. I'd like to see more of it, but let's deviate. Let's stir things up. Let's mix it up, make it different. Got to move. It's
got to move. Yes, right now it's a VHS tape every week. I'm tired of if you'd have given me one VHS tape and then done something different and then followed up with another one, maybe that would have worked. This shit every week, I'm not buying it. It's getting on my nerves, quick bottles. It's getting on my last nerve even quicker.
Play a VHS tape of Vince and 2 paralegals in a hot tub. I like to see a tape of that.
Yeah, no, we're not going down.
God damn it, pal.
Not going down that road today.
No.
The last 30 minutes of this show was also, that's how you close a show, Bottles. That's how you close a show. Dominic Mysterio's in a mixed tag match with Liv Morgan against his old man. He beats him in the middle of the ring. Liv Morgan gets in the ring to celebrate. They get nose to nose. He's finally going to get sucked in by this vixen, this harlot. She's finally done him in. And what happens? Rhea Ripley's music hits, and the place went banana.
I recall a man on the last show that said Rhea Ripley might be coming back.
I've been waiting. Yes, we've both been waiting to see when she would come back because the rumor out there was that she wasn't quite ready yet. Well, it looks like she's ready now. And when she came storming down the ring,
I wouldn't say she's ready, Don.
I'm not ready. Well, SummerSlam's still 3 weeks away.
She can come back and cut promos and advance the story along until she actually gets into the ring with Liv.
You don't think she's going to? You think Liv's not going to defend the title at SummerSlam?
No, I didn't say that. But have Rhea Ripley just take it easy for like a week or two, and then, cut promos, advance the angle along throughout the show, and then really she'll be ready to go for the match at SummerSlam.
See, I just
what happens with that?
I just don't think they would put her on camera like this in this moment if she wasn't ready to have a match at SummerSlam. I just don't think they would. That's just me personally. I don't think they would have done that. And this storyline, by the way, has been going on for months now. Slowly, Liv's trying to get Dom. She's trying to seduce Dom. She's trying to get inside his faction. It's been months now. So when Rhea came out, the whole place exploded. Liv took off. She gets in the ring with Dom, and she's like, look at me. Mommy's home. I love the closing segment of this. I thought it was awesome. It kept me entertained at the beginning, in the end. The middle stuff, like you said, was sort of filler. It sort of feels like they're semi-building a lot of different angles. Karrion Kross, I'm really digging right now. I like that demeanor he's got. They seem to be giving him a little bit more free reign. So I'll be curious where this goes. I enjoyed the show. I didn't as enjoy it as I had the last couple, but still, they can't all be A+, pal.
Where does the tale of McIntyre and Punk and Rollins wind up? 3-way at SummerSlam?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be, I think you're still going to have Drew you might have Rollins versus Punk. I don't know, because Drew's suspended, don't forget, indefinitely. So I don't know. This This is the one storyline that you can't
Hang on
nail
a second.
down.
I got it.
I know what you're going to say.
I've got it. Rollins versus Punk at SummerSlam. McIntyre, who was suspended, comes out of the crowd and screws Punk over.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So looking forward to it. I did not watch it.
Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan at SummerSlam for the women's title. Dominic Mysterio screws Rhea Ripley out of the
there
gimmick.
You go. There you go. It makes too much sense.
Priest
or
versus
Finn Balor.
But no, Balor's going to screw over Priest.
See, you can't have all the screw jobs, though, man. You can't have all the run-ins. Can't have everything be a screw job.
Well, you have to have some of this shit's got to either begin or end at SummerSlam. Now, the Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan thing is just beginning. Just beginning. She's not winning that belt back. She's not winning that belt back at SummerSlam.
Probably not, which will piss off a lot of fans. I can tell you that much right now.
Well, they can have a main event of Raw one night. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the belt. No DQ or Judgment Day's banned from ringside or whatever.
Once again, everybody, thank you for watching this evening. Please like and subscribe to the video. Notification button, hit them, turn it on, hit the ring-a-ling on the ding-a-ling. Super chat's open because it's time. It's time.
It's time to talk.
AEW time. It happened last night. It happened. It finally happened. And when I cut my DVR on, I couldn't believe who was on my TV. It's like clockwork.
Ed O'Neill. Ed O'Neill.
No. AEW starts and Sheldon Cooper leads off talking to Stephen Hawking. Stephen makes a bad joke and the laugh track kicks in. God, it's already starting off bad. That was in my notes because that's how it was.
Oh, you're talking about the beginning of the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the DVR. It says I'm watching AEW. Sheldon Cooper's a draw, baby. Sheldon Cooper's a draw.
So they hold on to like, what is it, 1 minute or 2 minutes of a TV show?
It's like a minute.
So they get a minute of that. That counts in that 15-minute, the first 15-minute quarter hour.
That's when they draw us right around that time. Yes, the top of that quarter.
Right. Those clever bastards.
I said, here we go. Then the real show kicked off with an MJF recap. And this is what I wrote down. This whole promo he cut was on Collision. You wasted this promo that he cut that looked amazing on Collision, a show that nobody watches, a show that nobody pays attention to. No one cares.
He thought he could get people to watch it without having compelling matches or feuds that make sense instead of just random shit. So I'm sure they watched, if you look at the quarter hours for Collision, I'm sure they watched the first 10 minutes of it because he was supposed to open up Collision, I believe. And now you've got him opening up. They advertised it. He's opening up AEW Dynamite. Or was that last? No, that was last week. I'm sorry. That was last week. But you did hear the Collision promo on this show.
That's what I'm saying. You wasted this on a show that nobody watched. You could have had him out there live doing this. Instead, you wasted it on Collision, which I don't understand from any standpoint as far as this is your biggest star. Why are you wasting him on a show that is clearly dead in the water? This and the Friday show are just dead. They are meaningless. They have no value anymore. No value at all. Why are we still doing this?
You add up the ratings of both of those shows and you got NXT's ratings every week.
Just
terrible.
Will Ospreay comes out to cut his promo back on MJF after what he said. And I immediately had to take a dookie, so I paused this.
I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a good job. Obviously, your colon, I just had it. Obviously, your colon didn't think he was doing. He did a good job. So your colon said, "Stop, split. Let's get out of here."
Look, man. I don't dislike the guy. We've talked about it. I think he's got some charisma, but some of his promos I'm just not a fan of right now. It's not connecting with me as a fan. And I noticed this when he came out. He's got more tats now. So Ospreay's officially getting tatted up. He's becoming Americanized. Got to get all the tats he can.
Yes.
Why is he dressed like a 1987 New Jersey father? From the toe to the top. He looks like he stepped out of Jersey circa 1987. And then I wrote down what he was wearing. He's got track pants, a soccer jersey, socks over the track pants, and terrible running shoes. I felt like I was watching like a 1980s Jersey Shore show. It was horrible.
I thought he was dressed like a 16-year-old high school student. I couldn't believe what I saw. This is a star.
16-year-old high school students dressed like Jersey dads now?
Yes. What you just described, actually, to me, was what my son used to wear in high school. Pull socks up over the bottom of the track pants, have the latest Nikes on. All that shit. That's what they still wear. But I digress.
It's a terrible look. It's a terrible
nobody who comes out of that ramp looks like a star except for two people to their credit. Well, three people to their credit. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Mercedes Moné. Even though I don't like the Mercedes Moné character, she does look like a star coming down the ramp.
I will give her credit. She always has good gear. She always looks like she dresses the part. She dresses a part of a star wrestler, like you said. MJF also always looks like a star wrestler when he comes down, like you said. He looks the part. Just what I'm seeing here. You know what I'm saying? Then they go back to Ospreay hints that he makes more money than MJF. I don't understand what this money thing was, and I'm here to make the company better. I didn't understand what that was and what their beef is. That's sort of what I didn't understand about all this is why are they beefing over what? Over who makes more money? Over who's here for what?
Promos. They cut these Twitter promos and tweets, mean tweets and shit like that. And people ask, Ospreay's the kind of guy who drinks his own bathwater. He thinks he's the star of stars. He thinks he's there to save that company. He's going to carry that company on his back into the promised land and try to attain the heights of the other company on the other channel. And they're not going to do it with Will Mumbles Ospreay, bruv. It's not going to happen. Great wrestler in the ring. Can't sell. He can't sell. He
won't sell.
He won't sell. That's the best way of putting it. He won't sell. And unless it's directly in the finish of a match, and then he'll sell. And he's the neckbeard's second coming. And even a grown man thinks he's a second coming. And that would be Dave Meltzer, a grown man.
That's true. But Dave's whole thing is if he can't anoint you as the next great thing, he will not accept you as the next great thing. That's why he won't put over guys like MJF. He won't acknowledge that Cody Rhodes right now is one of the biggest stars in the world. He won't acknowledge anybody for that matter in the WWE.
No.
Shit. Ricochet's coming on board to AEW here any day now, and he's jazzing himself up for that shit because he's like, they're going to put on, if you remember at the Tokyo Dome in 2017, I don't want to hear that shit. All right. I wish Ricochet the best of luck. I hope he can bring some of the professionalism from his previous company into AEW. I don't think it's going to happen. But back to this.
All I can say is one thing. Has Ricochet signed? Has someone posted? Definitely. Ricochet has signed with AEW. And have they put up the graphic? Ricochet is all elite. Or you actually use that name. Ricochet is all elite. Have they put that logo up? We're legit that they know.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but everything I read says he's coming and that the end is nigh. It's going to happen. So until I hear otherwise, I'm going to believe he's going.
By the way, the promo that they've been running on AEW Saturday TV of a guy with a mask on running. I think he's diving through. I don't know what it's all about. And people are saying that's for Ricochet. That's Ricochet. It's not Ricochet. It's a Mexican wrestler that they signed from CMLL called Aramis.
Oh boy.
And he's going to be wrestling with a different mask. He's going to be able to show his hair. Probably the Aldo Montoya gimmick. The yellow. You remember Aldo Montoya from WWF? Yes. That he might be wearing one of those things because his hair can stick out. So that's the guy that's in those promos. They act like he's going to be a big, big star, and they're trying to build up a big, big Spanish star. So everyone wants a piece of that market.
But you just reminded me, we're going to cut back to the NXT PLE, which was Sunday, correct? That just happened? The big PLE on NXT was Sunday, correct?
This past Sunday.
There's something that I want to talk about that. Don't let me forget at the end of this. We're going to talk about some of the hypocrisy in the wrestling community that's so blatant. It's pathetic. I want to get back to that. But cut back to this, this promo going on the ring. MJF, they cut his music. Bruv is calling him out. We're waiting to see if he's going to come through there. Ospreay's waiting. And here comes Crowbar on the screen drinking wine. And I'm like, son of a bitch, what did Crowbar get here? Then they zoom in. Turns out it's actually MJF. Once again, they're ripping off Crowbar's gimmicks. Once again, they're ripping this guy off. Crowbar, if I were you, I would file a cease and desist or at least ask for a check because the shit's getting out of hand. If you don't know who Crowbar is, he came up with essentially the timeless gimmick a while back. He's been the guy drinking cognac in black and white in a seat. Or wine, if you will, seated. They're ripping all this guy's shit off.
Look up his Twitter account, @Crowbar. I think there might be a letter or a number after that. I'm not sure. But at Crowbar, you'll see pictures of him and videos of him. And you'll know it's the right account. He evaluates matches. He evaluates shows. You can ask him anything you want. Great down-to-earth guy. We had him on the show a couple of months ago. Great guy. And he was also in WCW, teaming with Daffy and David Flair. If you have no idea who Crowbar is, look for his matches on the Peacock, and the WCW fold of the WWE page.
Had a match with Terry Funk.
Website. He did. Had a match with Terry Funk. Yeah.
Anyway, cut back to this. Ospreay, MJF says, you and I are going to wrestle next Wednesday for your title. And Ospreay accepts the challenge, and that's the end. Okay.
It is the 250th anniversary. Not anniversary. The 250th edition
show
of AEW Dynamite will be next week. That's why it's a special occasion. Keep that in mind while they make all these big matches that are already announced and we're on the slate.
They're coming, pal. The big matches aren't done getting announced yet. Monet apparently has an open challenge or some shit going down. We'll talk about it in a minute. But here's the thing. This show did what? 691,000 or 692? I think it was 692.
690. It doesn't matter. 1,000 doesn't matter.
It's 691, 692. I think it's 692. They are desperate now to hot shot the ratings back up because they're still in negotiations to get this new TV contract. And that's what it is. They are hot shotting what should be, by all accounts, a pay-per-view match. They're hot shotting this thing. And I can almost guarantee you Daniel Garcia is going to get involved somehow, as is Ospreay's old faction. I would be willing to bet MJF does not exactly have he's not part of the Don Callis group, but they have some sort of an understanding headed into this. And then Daniel Garcia runs down miraculously healed, setting up their Wembley show. How much you want to bet? Which also sets up, by the way, Don Callis and his faction to finally have the match with Ospreay with one of the guys in that group. That's how I see this thing coming down.
I'm right there with you. The other match that was announced for the show is Swerve Strickland versus Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Co-main events, Don. Co-main events.
In any place but America. Anyway, no, I do like, I kid, but I do like their current champion. I just don't feel like he's getting the current push he should deserve. I just don't think he is. Am I alone here? I mean, Swerve felt like a bigger deal before he got the championship, and now he doesn't feel like the big deal anymore. Matter of fact, looking around this company, it's hard for me to say who is the big deal right now. No one in this company is grabbing me as the headline star right now.
You got to look at the ratings, Don. You got to look at the ratings.
Why?
I'll give you the top three. Okay, the top three right now. MJF. I'll go top four. MJF. Samoa Joe.
Can I rebut?
Swerve Strickland.
Okay.
And Tony Storm. Those four.
Okay. Can I rebut now?
Go right ahead.
MJF is stuck in a mid-card feud with Daniel Garcia that no one's going to give a shit or talk about in 5 years. No one's going to care.
I'm talking about his previous stats.
I'm talking about now, currently, today, right now. As of today, who is the top star in that company?
They just, were you trying to take MJF out of the equation? You can't.
He's at a mid-card level right now. He doesn't have that zing. He doesn't have it. It's not there.
So the charisma and the promos don't carry over to you as a viewer. He's got to be in a good feud right now
he's got to
be a star.
You don't put Bret Hart out there with I don't know, the Brooklyn Brawler for the heavyweight championship and say, Now he's a star. It doesn't work that way. Again, we've talked about this. Daniel Garcia is the dancing goof, and he's gotten it all over my precious MJF, and I can't wash it out. It's a stain I can't get off of. It's like that episode that they had up in Philly this week where that dude rubbed one out on that chick's leg, and she came running out of the store screaming at him.
In the Dollar Tree. He nutted
Yes.
on my leg.
I wasn't going to say it.
My leg.
That's Daniel Garcia right now, and MJF's chasing him out the store. It's just terrible. None of this is good to me. Daniel Garcia is a dancing goof. I'm sorry, I've droned on too long about it. Thanks for watching, though. By the way, like and subscribe.
Of course, he's
Super
a
chats
dancing
are open.
goof. You won't see the man for a while. He just had his neck broken in the ring by MJF. You're not going to see him for a while. MJF is setting his sights on Ospreay. That's what he's doing. Then he's going to set his sights on Swerve. He's going to do that too. So a lot of that's going on.
Anyway,
But,
they had
but
the
wait a minute. Who do you think the biggest stars are?
I don't
Give me your
that's what I'm
top four. Top
They're-
four. You give me your top four in AEW.
Hold on. You're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm thinking right now. So I want to make sure I'm clear on this. No one's hot. There's not a hot star. There's not a hot guy that you've got to see every week. There's not a guy. You're not tuning into AEW because MJF is about to have a great match or because MJF is in a mid-card feud. That's not why you're tuning in. You're tuning into WWE to see Paul Heyman go through a table because right now Solo Sikoa is ascending. Right now Solo is ascending. Right now,
I get what you're saying, Don. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. There's nobody in AEW I would say, I got to watch it this week, definitely,
That's what I'm saying.
because
Yes.
something's going to go down with so-and-so, and it's going to be sweet. Nobody's saying that about AEW. When I turn on AEW, I realize that it's a shallow charisma pool in that place. It's very shallow. And you watch it thinking, okay, Joe's good, MJF's great, Tony Storm's doing great with what they gave her, what this gimmick is, and Swerve Strickland deserves to be a bigger star than the way they're booking him. I will say that's how I look at the whole show. I got what's going on with Swerve Strickland. While I'm here, I'll stay to see what's going on with Swerve. While I'm here, I'll listen to MJF go off. While I'm here, I'll watch Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho, who I detest now. He's made me hate him, but I'll stay to see that. Oh, the lesbians are going to fight at the end of the show? Okay, I got to see that.
So that's my point is you're not tuning in to see an angle, a hot angle or a person or anything like that.
But I'm tempering. What I'm saying is I'm tempering my expectations to an AEW level. If I'm watching WWE, like I saw that last PLE, Clash of the Castle, Money in the Bank, and I'm thinking, could have been better. Could have been good. Clash of the Castle, same way. It could have been a better show. Could have been a better show. Yeah, I have higher standards for that. With AEW, it's like going to a dive bar and just pounding shots and keg stands and all that other shit. Crazy stuff.
I used to tune in to see MJF. He was a draw for me. I tuned in to watch CM Punk. He was a draw for me. Now I got Ocean Spray coming out here talking bruv nonsensical all the time. Bruv, it's me, Ocean Spray. I'm here to tell you.
Billy Ocean Spray.
Yes, I'm over it. So right now, there's just not a draw for me in this company. And Swerve was a draw for a while. And now they've ruined him. Speaking of ruin, let's get to the Owen Hart tournament recap. They do that. It's going to be Danielson versus Adam Page. Jarrett is the special enforcer. And the way this thing started off, so now they've got a heel and a face tunnel that they come out of, right? And they got Jeff Jarrett, who is the enforcer, looking at the heel tunnel, waiting on Adam Page to come out. And he comes out of the good guy tunnel and then spits at the feet of Jeff Jarrett. Because the thought process is Adam Page doesn't think he's done anything wrong. Oh, my God. No heel feels like they've done anything wrong. They're just a heel. They're a heel because of how they act and how they get even. Every heel thinks they're in the right. That's what I don't understand about this. This isn't smart booking. This is overthinking stupid shit that had no place in this show. This is dumb. No heel ever came out and said, I'm a dastardly heel.
Wow.
It was, I'm going to get what I want because screw you, buddy. You've taken my spot. That's the whole purpose of it. So I didn't care for that shit coming out. The whole match
The
was
genius.
just,
Hang on a second. Lanny Poffo, the genius, never said that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I didn't understand Jeff Jarrett being a special enforcer, that he was friends with Owen Hart, so whatever. This match was about what I thought it was going to be. You pretty much know what you're going to get with one of these matches. Bryan Danielson and the 400 kicks is just, it's wearing on me, pal. It's wearing on me.
At least they didn't do the big neck problem thing. At least
he
didn't do, the trainer comes over.
Match.
I mean, look, at the end of the show,
I could tell you didn't
were they like all consulting with, are you okay? Are you going to make it? Do we get the gurney out? What are we going to do?
I can tell you didn't watch this match. I can tell you caught the beginning, took a squirt, let the dogs out, and then caught the end. I can tell, because that's exactly what they did. They went out of this ring and did a pile driver move where Daniel Bryan laid there. Oh, my neck. I'm dying. The ref doesn't count 10, gets out with the doctor and checks on Bryan Danielson. Checks on him for literally like 2 minutes. No count out, no nothing. And I said, okay, this is the bullshit that I can't stand about this company right here. He should have been counted out. That should have been the end of it. So what were you doing at this part? Other than not watching this match?
I was actually, I did everything you just said earlier, and then I put a pizza in, and I made myself a nice mixed drink. That's what I did. Because didn't care. Hangman Page is a turnoff for me. Don't want to watch his matches. I don't like anything he does. His promos are horrendous. It's he looks like a slap-jawed moron.
You said he didn't sell his neck and he was outside for 2 minutes with the ref. It was horrible at this point. Did we get?
I saw the
beginning. The ref bump? Did you see the ref bump?
That was at the end of the match. I came back to that.
It was at the end.
Yes.
You get the ref bump. Jeff Jarrett's getting into it. Suddenly, Jeff Jarrett takes off his shirt and he's a ref. And I said, this is bullshit. I don't need to see this anymore. Get to the end of this. Bryan Danielson won. He gets a shot at Swerve, and then Swerve comes out and announces he's going to wrestle Bryan Danielson at Blood and Guts as agreed upon. And this whole thing started losing me real fast. By the way, Jeff Jarrett as a ref, not a good thing. Not a good thing. He was slow. Look, it's nothing personal, but he was slow to get down to make the count. You could tell he's moving like a stiff wrestler at his age. He's not moving that fast. When he would get down, it was, oh shit, okay, I'm finally down here. It was stiff watching him work. Like, don't ever let that happen ever again. That was awful. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
It was stiff watching a stiff man work stiff.
It really was. It really was. Then they had the interview, of course, right before Swerve came down. Hart, what's her name? Martha Hart, right? That's her name. Dana Hart.
Martha Hart, the great Martha Hart.
Okay.
At her
she gets in
festival
the ring.
She had a nice
She says congratulations. They did have a nice trophy. He gets a shot. Whatever. I didn't care. Swerve came out and cut a promo that I wasn't really overly impressed with. It didn't keep me tuned in. I couldn't sit there and go, oh, God, I got to see it. It was just, again, they've lost the plot with me with this guy, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers in this company. That's just me. Whatever.
I was checking the dew point in Kansas, Ohio on my phone at the time during all this. That's how involved I was in this match. It's just the shits. He's going to win this. He's probably going to win. I'm talking Danielson. Probably going to win the heavyweight championship by the end of the year. He probably is. He's going to win the international championship from Ospreay somewhere down the line. He's going to win every belt in the company. He'll be a tag champ, and he's out the door.
And then Tony gets to have all the tournaments he's ever dreamed of for all the belts. Each week will be a tournament for a title. I can see it already. He's in his lair right now, sniffing glue or whatever he's gotten on that desk. I'm not going to sort of anything else. Anyway, that was that. The Acclaimed have the rap, and they do
Gold
their
Bomb powder.
Yeah, they do the Acclaimed do the rap. They rap about the hairline and the dirt sheet riders, and it wasn't terrible.
This segment of the show I set for, and I said to myself, why did I make that fucking pizza and take a squirt, let the dogs out, and make a drink when this shit was coming on? Why did he do this first? I would just open the show with a big bow movement on your screen and let it go at that. These guys are literally the shits.
Well,
Nothing
I got
about
news
this
for you.
made me want to stay and sit. Go ahead.
Because the next match is when the WWE took over AEW's creative control for the rest of the night. This is where it happened, folks. Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho had a WWE-esque segment, and I don't mean the good time. I mean the shit from the Vince era where they did some of the dumbest shit you've ever seen in your life, where they made
Where he
fake
came in at
walls and
6:30,
shit.
he walked in at 6:30 and wrote the whole show, tore up what they had, and he rewrote the whole show. That's what this was. But go ahead.
See, and it went full WWE. We had all kinds of horse shit, and I said horse shit and horseshoes. Here we go. The best part of this match was Samoa Joe's dive outside the ring to knock out the Low Plains Drifter. That was the best part of this whole match. Low Plains Drifter got knocked out. Joe and Jericho kept going at it. The suplex spot I thought was great. It added to the levity to the match when he tried to suplex Joe, and Joe just laughed at him, looked at him like, "What are you doing? You're not getting my big ass over." So that made me laugh. That made me laugh. Here we go. Brother Fluff Salisbury says, was all the trash talking Nigel does about Danielson, did you think that he would try to cost Bryan the match? It's got to be leading to something. I don't think so, to be quite honest. I just felt like during this, they needed something because there is no true heel announcer on this show anymore. That's sort of what it's missing. Every great wrestling show has got to have a play-by-play guy and a dastardly announcer that doesn't like anything about the face, and he's always pulling for the heel. I thought he did a decent job of this. When he first started talking, it kind of shocked me. I don't know if it got you by surprise or not, Bottles, because he was quiet for like the first 2 minutes of the show, wasn't he?
Yes. And all of a sudden he came in and, whoa, Nigel's here. And then they did their business about Taz being barred from the building and all this other bullshit. So that's why
it caught
Nigel's
me
there.
off.
Nigel was, I think he told Tony Schiavone to shut up.
Yes, he did.
Jesus Christ. He's great. As a heel announcer, he's great. But in Ring of Honor, him and Danielson were like Roman Reigns and Cody in Ring of Honor. And, a bitter feud and great matches. Danielson even detached a retina in his eye from doing those headbutts, the head where one guy's sitting on the top turnbuckle, the other guy's straddling the top rope, and they're headbutting each other. Yeah, that shit.
You keep the microphone, pal.
What's that?
Your mic keeps moving. It's making noise.
It is?
Yeah.
Is it making a noise now?
When you touch it, it does. If you get near it, it does. Tighten that sucker up after the show, pal. I enjoyed Nigel. They need to have this guy more often. For real. And I wrote this down. Sockface has gotten on my last nerve. Can we get rid of him and put Nigel on the show when we bring back Taz? Because I enjoyed him a hell of a lot more than I enjoyed Sockface. Nigel was at least bringing something. He brought some character to the show. Thank you for asking that, Brother Fluff. That was a great point, man. We hadn't even really talked about that. Great point. Appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat.
But my point was, do you think that he's actually trying to? You think he's cleared to wrestle because he had to retire due to concussions in the WWE? He got signed by the WWE, and he had issues, medical issues, and they couldn't do anything with him. But they took him on as an announcer after a while, after he cut his teeth in TNA. But do you think that this is where they're going? Where it's going to be a Danielson?
No, not at all. No, this was
final match.
No, not a chance. This was this guy doing a really good job calling it. I thought it was superb. I enjoyed everything about it. I enjoyed him throughout the night. It was great.
Yes.
So I want to tip my hat to him on that. I'm glad I thank you again, brother, for bringing that up. Samoa Joe and then Jericho back to this match. They start fighting in the back. They go tearing ass through the back. And I looked at my son who's watching with me. I said, this is the best part of the show tonight because this is believable, at least. They're in the back having a fight now, not a fake fight in the ring with horseshoes and shit. And then out of nowhere, I saw the open door, and I looked at my son. I said, he's about to get jumped by Big Bill. You could see it coming. The door was cracked. Sure enough, here we go. And it's WWE time, ladies and gentlemen, from circa 2016. The shitty choke slam onto a sitting forklift with a pallet there. Because I know when I go into the back of arenas, there's always a forklift in the middle of the aisleway when I go there.
Always, of course.
I've never not seen one. Oh, and look, now we have a wall that's up that you could clearly see over the fake wall that there was shit behind it. that made no sense that they had it there. And now we're going to drive through this brand new installed fake wall that has no business out here, that one of the guys in the back just casually walked through after this whole thing happened, like it was no big deal. And I said, oh my God, are we really doing this right now? This was so bad, WWE, it was cringy. Cringy. And it's Jericho, so just it's a shit salad with a cherry on top at the end of it. It was so bad. This was a sack bucket of a match is what it was.
Just visualized all that. Shit salad with a cherry on top. That's not good, pal.
The only bright spot about this whole thing to me, and this is just me, and I wondered if you caught this. Did you notice when Chris Jericho looked at the camera when he was driving the forklift, and he said it for the first time to where I believed he was a prick and a real dastardly villain? He goes, "Hi, guys," and then tore off through the damn wall. Did you catch that?
I didn't catch that. No.
Damn.
No.
That was actually good. As much as we've been shitting on Jericho, and it's been well earned, this was actually really good when he did that.
He started a direct feud with Samoa Joe, two ex-WWE guys. I would think that Joe's going to have his input into it. He's not going to be, whatever you tell me to do, Chris, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm trying to get ahead in this company. I'll do it. Joe's going to say, I'm not doing that. Or that doesn't work for me, brother. Or the famous line. Or how about you want to do it that way? How about if I do it this way? And we twist it a little bit. Joe's going to contribute to the mix. And I think this feud is going to go someplace. It's going to be pretty good. Outside the ring. Not inside the ring with Jericho, but outside the ring, it's going to be good.
Okay, cool.
You'll see Joe versus Low Place Drifter. Then you'll see Joe versus Big Bill. And then he's finally going to face Jericho, probably at Wembley.
I think you're going to see Hook get involved with this somehow, and you're going to see the three-way match again. I think is what you're finally going to see. I think you're going to finally see that again, to be honest.
I'd say, how about Jericho, Big Bill, Low Plains versus Hook and Joe? Handicap match, 3-on-2.
Well, they got their talking to the phone friend now. Forget is it
Shibata?
I couldn't remember which one it was. Anyway,
the brain guy. The brain guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to dwell on this any longer. We've dwelled on it long enough. The next thing that came on my show, my note literally said, "Look at this shit: Claudio, Kyle, Ishii, and Pac." And I said, I don't need to watch any of this, and I don't know if you watched it or not. But it was a trading of blows, of nonstop bullshit, grab-ass, fundamental horse hockey is the best way I can put it. It bored the shit out of me because it was just move after move after move, and there was no story in this match at all. There was no reason to get invested in this. It was ass in a glass, and that's all I got to say about it. You got anything else you want to add? Go ahead.
It was horrible. It made no sense why they're there. A random match of talent from this company. Just let's pick one of A, B, C, D of those types, and we'll throw them all in a match. Ishii can hardly move. He should be in an AEW ring or any American ring. Retire in New Japan, pal. That's the best thing you can do. And let's see. I got to look at the notes to see exactly who was in this. Pac, great wrestler. Fletcher.
I just said who was in it.
Well, you did, but I didn't retain that. Fletcher, I have no interest in Fletcher anymore. They killed him. Pac, still a great wrestler. That guy's good. Castagnoli is just done. He should be a trainer. He's just there. He should be a trainer. He's Wildfire Tommy Rich at the end of his career, is what he is. Well, he would make up-and-coming talents look good. He'd maybe be in a high-level feud here and there with a tag team partner. That's it.
Okay, I'm moving on this because it was terrible. Then they go to Paige in the back. He's now teaming up with the Elite next week to take on whoever Swerve Strickland's team's going to be. Then you get the Mercedes Moné. Yes, you get the Mercedes Moné moment. She comes in the ring. She screws up Bret Hart's line. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. She hosed that up in Calgary. How do you screw that line up?
I heard her say that, and I looked up from my phone and went, what? This can't be. And then it just went downhill from there. Britt Baker came down the ramp, Don.
Look like $1 million. She looks like she's been working out. She really needs to get her boyfriend out of the house and help him find a weight room and a tanning salon so that she could get him on her plan. Because
she beat up six male security guards. She beat.
Don't get me started on that horse shit. I don't even want to talk about it. I was waiting for this to just be over with. Then we get the return of Darby Allin in the back. That all happened. Yay, Darby's back. And then we get Willow versus Mariah. And I said, I'm out. I'll come back at the end of this because I know I'm not going to be entertained by this match. You watched it. You tell me what you thought. I just saw
I thought it was a good match between, at the time, two baby faces. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't hateful. A little suspense here. Who's going to win? This is one of the matches, probably the only match from AEW where you said to yourself, I really don't know who's going to win this match. So I'm a little invested in this. I like to see what happens. So that's what I did. I stayed, watched. Willow Nightingale and her. Mariah pinned Willow Nightingale after a ton of near falls. And they left on good terms. A little pat on the chest from Willow to Mariah. Oh, thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. And then it happened. She walked up the ramp. She hugged Tony. Tony was going crazy. Luther was just standing there in the background. Tony was so happy for her protege. And why she comes to the ring in a negligee, I have no idea. I'm not complaining, but I don't understand why she would wear something like that. That's like wearing a I would say wearing a bathrobe on the way to a wrestling ring. Isn't it out of, that's something that happens all the time. Well, back in the
old days. You wear it on a Victoria's Secrets runway, not a wrestling runway.
Exactly. So the whole thing went down. They congratulated Mariah May, loved her, hugged all over her. And then Mariah, her job is to carry Tony's title. She's carrying the title. And she's carrying she's carrying the women's. That's right. They have a women's belt for the cup. They have a belt and a cup. So she was carrying that belt. And she spins around and whacks Toni Storm right in the head. As Toni Storm hits the ground on the ramp, and she gigs herself. And Mariah just starts wailing on her with the high-heeled shoes.
Wailing on her.
Carrying to the ring. Digging it in, smacking her, and beating the shit out of her. So, where this goes from here, I don't know. Well, obviously, it's going to be a match at Wembley. But I think they turned the wrong girl. They should have had Toni Storm turn on Mariah May. They had a chance to build a new star as a babyface in Mariah May. So...
There's two different trains of thought on this, and you just hit on one of them. They turned the wrong girl heel, which I actually agree with you 100% on. They did turn the wrong girl here. It should have been the other way around. It really should have been. It makes all the sense in the world to say, bitch, you're not coming after my title. I've taught you everything you know. You think you're better than me. Whatever. I get behind that 100%. The other casualty of this whole thing is one of two trains of thought. You either think they rushed this way too fast, and they should have built up the turn to happening versus this right away, or you're happy that they did it right away. The other issue that I have with this is we just saw this exact same angle a week ago go down between Daniel Garcia and MJF, all the way down to the blood leaking all over his face. This isn't new. You just did this a week ago. We shit on the WWE when they did back-to-back ambulance angles on freaking SmackDown. If you do it every week, this shit doesn't matter. This, I thought, was a great way to do it, but it felt less than what it should have been because you had a guy bleeding last week all over the place like a stuck pig. You had Danielson bleeding in the second match out the gate, along with the Cowboy was bleeding all over the place. Now you've got this chick bleeding all over the place. There is a time and a place to gig yourself and get a good blood angle. This I felt was completely out of place to me. The angle kicked off hot, which I'm okay with, but the blood felt out of place because you've done it so much. The same shit you just had. The friend turning on the friend last week. You're doing it again? That was my issue.
He can't help himself. He's got to rush things. We got to rush right into this. They could have teased it with like Toni Storm giving Mariah May little side looks over the next couple of weeks. Just give a little verbal digs to her. And Mariah May would just kirk out. And then Tony should have beat her down. Mariah May would have been the baby face in the whole thing. That's my feeling about all this. Mariah May is going to face her at Wembley. They'll probably change the title over to Mariah May. Then she'll drop the title again to whoever loses in the Britt Baker Mercedes Moné match. That person will challenge Mariah May for the title. She'll drop the belt to that person, and then Mariah May will be relegated to Rampage and SmackDown. I mean, Collision.
Here we go. Yeah.
They're going to be on the B shows and the C show until you're just phased out, like Deonna Purrazzo, the great Snooki Purrazzo.
So that was the show. I mean, like I said, Blood Angle, not really a fan. Bottles, do you have any other news or tidbits you want to get to? Because that concludes AEW. I've got one last thing, but that's about it. I want to see if you have anything.
Would you like to see the quarter hours?
Yes, please throw them up.
Hang on.
You have those, I take it, somewhere in your files.
Yes, sir, I do.
I'm looking at right now.
Got them right here.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. I didn't set it up ahead of time, so I got 1,000 different things I have to hit just to get this to show up.
What is the Big Bang lead-in? What is that? Not 8 something?
819. Not almost a million like it usually is. 819,000.
So again, that's the Big Bang. What's the first real number?
Okay, 725. Danielson versus Page.
That's where we are.
That's where you are. 725. The next quarter hour is 722.
So it held it. It held it.
It held it. 845. Still Danielson and Page. 663 at 9 o'clock would be Danielson, Live Angle, Swerve Strickland live promo. Owen Hart
Swerve Strickland lost 60,000 people.
Yes. Then it went up. Actually, it went up for the next quarter hour at 9:15. The Acclaimed, Billy Gunn, then the Elite video.
Isn't that also the top of the 9 o'clock hour, though, if I'm not mistaken?
8:15, 8:30, 8:45. Yes, it is. Yes,
so there you go. So the top of the hour, people come back in to see what's going on, and they said, nope, I don't need this shit. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Then that went from 672 to 632.
Yeah, 40,000 people said, I've seen enough of Chris Jericho. Get my ass out of here.
Well, and then you had Claudio and Ishii and Pac and Kyle Fletcher come out.
And that followed, so they weren't coming back.
632, 657. Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker brought him back.
Not by much, pal. Not
by much, but it brought some people back.
And then that last quarter hour, what'd they do?
There's two. Well, I got the overrun.
No, the overrun I'm not counting.
945 was 640,000 for the Willow and Mariah May match.
So there you go.
Picture-in-picture ads. And then they wound up with 695 for the overrun. Almost 700,000 people.
So 40-something thousand people tuned in to see whatever the hell is supposed to be coming on at 10 o'clock. And they said, what is this shit? So there you go. What else you got for me, Bottles, now that we've done that?
Maximum Male Models have been signed to Ring of Honor.
Oh, shit, these guys.
Mansoor and Mason Madden, the former Massey. They're both signed to appear at Ring of Honor television.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't really care. It's not my cup of tea, whatever. There is one big thing I did want to talk about before we go home.
Chris Jericho talking about when it's time to hang it up.
Yeah, he doesn't know, clearly. Clearly, Chris Jericho is not the guy that should be telling anybody when it's time to hang him up, because he has no goddamn clue when he should hang him up. That is more than obvious right now.
He said, I know what it's time, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm still contributing at a high level. I can still have the best match of the show on any given night. Not every night, but any given night. And I just really love what we're doing with AEW right now. So there's really no rush on that. And when I know, I'll know.
No. Will Ferrell said it best. You sit on a throne of lies. He doesn't know shit about shit. It has been time to go home. And he's still sitting there. And he's still boring the shit out of me.
For whoever may be interested, I have a picture of Kevin Sullivan at the hospital.
I saw that. Yeah. Not looking good.
So not looking good. From what I'm seeing, he's either got Bell's palsy or he has had a stroke. I'm looking at the left side of his face on your right, on our right.
You can see it.
That's drooping down. Yes, that's drooping down. So, God bless the Taskmaster, man.
I've got one piece of business I want to cover before we get out of here that's kind of important.
Go ahead.
The NXT PLE was this weekend,
and
it was a big damn deal. People went crazy over this thing. People thought it was amazing. I didn't watch it. I saw a lot of the highlights. There was some crazy shit going on. One match in particular took over the Twitterverse this week by storm, which was two women. I'm not familiar with who they are. I'm not going to try to chase down their names. It doesn't matter because it's irrelevant for what the actual story is here. They do this sequence of moves, which is not my cup of tea. So let me go ahead and be clear about this. I don't like this type of wrestling with all the flips and the hits and the spots and the jumping over each other, the trampoline act. That's not my kind of wrestling. That's not what I get into. However, it was the exact same sequence, it turns out, that Ricochet and one Ocean Spray did a few years ago. The exact same sequence, down to almost the exact same step. And here's my issue on this. Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez immediately made fun of it. Because women did it. That's exactly why they made fun of it. And I don't give a shit what they say. That's why they did it. Because Dave Meltzer's favorite wrestlers impress him so much, because when they do this shit, they get that's right. They got a 5.5 star rating for that match.
Right.
He laughed at these girls and made fun of them. What's really funny to me is a couple of girls did the same shit your favorite wrestlers did, and you shit on it because they made it look easy. They made it look routine, because if you practice this shit over and over, you can do a trampoline act in the middle of the ring. So fuck you, Meltzer, for being a hypocrite of the highest degree. You are a candy ass. Put some freaking kerosene rags around your ankles so the ants don't eat your ass alive. I'm sick of this two-faced hypocrite piece of shit. I'm done with it, dude. Him to laugh at this match after giving the men 5.5 stars for the same sequence is ridiculous. It's hypocrisy at its finest.
The magic windows have gone dark.
They are going dark.
The hate, the vitriol, the hatred in your soul. It's amazing that drink you're drinking didn't catch fire.
I'm done with it, man. I'm so tired of this
ridiculous.
Two-faced clown. Every time it's his. That's what I want to say, though. Unless he anoints you as the next great wrestler, he will never give you credit where it's due. These two girls did the same damn moveset, move for move. And here was some of the arguments I got from the Meltzer schlong suckers on why they said it wasn't worthy of that high of a match or why it was laughable. Well, they must have practiced it. Do you think Ocean Spray and Ricochet didn't get in the ring and practice this moveset? You utter idiot.
Of course
they of course practiced it. They did it over and over again to make sure they got it right. You're a bunch of morons. Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man never practiced a match one time. You know what they did? Macho Man had 5 damn pages of notes on what they were going to do that he went over and over to the point where Ricky said it was driving him nuts. They didn't practice it, but they talked about it. When you're doing shit like this, you have to practice it so you don't hit your heads on each other and whatnot. It is utter absurdity for Dave to laugh at the women and praise the men. He's a hypocrite of the highest order. And I'm not the biggest fan of women's wrestling, but give them their due when they do the bullshit you like. That's all I have to say about that. That's all I've got this week, unless you got something else.
I got one more thing. The FTR's back, pal. That injury, injury
one
indication.
One of them's back. Roided out of his mind.
They both are, pal. I got a picture from Collision.
I got to see this shit then.
They taped Collision. They taped the Collision last night. So,
good.
This is what you got.
God, Lily.
Look at the size of the shoulders and arms.
Yeah, he's gotten way bigger.
I think the mustache is gone too. I think he shaved off his mustache, And bald FTR is bald all the way around now. And Smith and Wesson FTR.
Mr. 9mm for that ass.
Yeah, Mr. 9mm is a completely clean shaven. The beard's gone. And I don't know, some generic schmuck right here in the middle.
I don't know who the hell that is.
I have no idea either.
Do you know what Bald Buck is, or what Bald FTR is doing right now? You see what he's doing? He's telling that guy right there, I'm going to block the shit out of you on Twitter.
I think he's telling, it looked like he's telling the guy, I just shot it right there. Look at me. Look at me.
Good God. There is one other funny thing we could talk about real quick that if you want to hit on it real quick, that's happened this week.
Go right ahead.
Shawn Michaels is blocking everyone and their mother that comments about anything in NXT. Have you seen this?
No, I did not.
If you mention NXT, someone is going through his account and blocking you immediately. You can say nothing negative at all about him, and they're still blocking you. I have no idea what's going on with his Twitter handle. He's blocked everyone. I don't get that. The other one is Adam Pearce, and I've got to give credit to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is in character through this whole thing right now. I was, joking around. I commented on one of Adam Pearce's quotes to Drew McIntyre. He said, just for that, you're fined another $20,000. And I just wrote it. I didn't cuss. I didn't do anything crazy. I said, this is so unfair. He did nothing wrong and got screwed over again. Hashtag free Drew McIntyre or free Drew. I get on later and I go to look for the tweet and people responded, but at the top it says, this user had limits who could see it. I'm like, what the hell? So I look him up and I click on his name. You've been blocked. So I've been suspended by the commissioner for 2 weeks. You got to give him credit, dude. That's hilarious, man.
Got to give him credit.
That's hilarious.
Michaels is he's got a great sense of humor.
No, this was Drew. I'm sorry, this was Adam Pearce.
Oh, this is Drew? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Adam Pearce was the one that suspended me. That's why.
Gotcha.
Anyway, that's all I've got today. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to be off next week. Going to be on vacation. I will be checking back in when we get back. I appreciate everybody's support. Going to go have some time with the family. Johnny might do a show or two. He hasn't figured it out yet, so keep your eyes peeled. He might be doing a watch along. It depends on his schedule as well. He might also take a little bit of vacation time that's much needed. But that's all I got, man. You want to cue the music there, pal? Thank you all again. Thanks again.
Button, pal. I got to go on the
like
right
and subscribe.
That,
hit that notification button.
Go say it. Ring-a-ling.
Ring-a-ling on the ding-a-ling.
Until next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.